Here is another piece of good news that I am very excited to share with you guys. I am so stoked to share this news because this is big deal. This is a big deal for net neutrality. You guys know that I'm a huge net neutrality advocate. I'm a huge advocate for municipal broadband. Net neutrality is the policy that protects a free and open internet. Without net neutrality, internet service providers like Comcast and AT&T can dictate what we see and hear on the internet. They can carve the internet up and make it look like cable television 2.0, where we can't have access to certain sites, and they can allow certain sites to load faster than others, certain content creators to have priority over others. It would squash independent media. It would squash shows like this. It would squash the internet as we know it. So what happened when we lost net neutrality in 2017, and I know those of you who tune into the show regularly, you've been following this along with me, but what's happened since we lost net neutrality in 2017, states have rallied and they have put forth their own net neutrality legislation. California, where I live, we've done this. New York has done something similar, Vermont, and the FCC is suing all those states. Well, guess what the court decided? This is good news, guys. Net neutrality rules could return at state level under mixed U.S. court decision. All right. Net neutrality laws could return at the state level after a U.S. court ruled on Tuesday that the Trump administration cannot block states from passing their own net neutrality laws, but largely upheld the 2017 repeal of the landmark rules, barring internet service providers from blocking or throttling traffic or offering paid fast lanes. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia said the FCC erred when it declared that states cannot pass their own net neutrality laws and ordered the agency to review some of the key aspects of its 2017 repeal of rules set by the Obama administration. But it left open the possibility the FCC could seek to block state efforts on a case-by-case basis. The court also found that the FCC acted properly when it overturned a 2015 decision that had classified broadband internet as a utility-style service that handed the FCC sweeping authority to regulate it and instead classified it as a less regulated information service. So that ruling sucks. That part is bad. The fact that they said, oh, the FCC was fine in overturning net neutrality. Now, and this is all a matter of interpretation. What the court just said here is they said that the internet is an information service, not a telecommunications service. So Title II designation, which is what we got on the books during the Obama administration. Title II, by the way, does not give the FCC control of the internet. That's not what it does. What it does is it designates the internet a utility, and that utility has to flow like running water or like a telephone call. That's what, and it's because that service is so essential in our life, it needs to be treated like a utility, like running water. That's what Title II does. One can certainly argue that the internet, given how prominent it is in our lives, think about everything you use the internet for. Is everything coming to your mind? Mine too. So it should be designated a utility. What the court said is no, it's an information service like TV or like radio. And that's a Title I designation. When I think about prominent essential services in my life, I think of cable television and the internet right on the same playing field. Don't you? Don't you think like, man, where would I be without my 50 channels of nothing? Where would I be without that? Man, if I had to pick between that or the internet, I don't know. It'd be a tough call. Or the radio. The radio. Where would I be without 20 stations playing the same song at the same time? And Sean Hannity 24 hours a day. Where would I be without that? I'd go crazy. Certainly, the court got it right on that part. They got it right on the part that the internet should totally just be an information service. It is right on a plane with radio or TV. Whenever someone makes that argument to you that the internet is an information service, be like, okay, really? Is the internet on the same plane for you as radio or television? In your life, without radio, could you order all the things that you have that are essential in your life? Could you be a consumer just using radio? All the 800 numbers you could just go ahead and call? How about television? Are those infomercials all you need? Or do you use the internet to buy products you need, to get services you need, to make appointments? Really? You want to say the internet's just an information service? Well, that's what the court said, and they got that part wrong. What they got right, though, was saying that states can make their own net neutrality rules. That's the big victory. So this is a victory with still some kind of reasons to not be so happy, as most victories are. All right, let's see what else is going on in this article. All right, so Ajit Pai, of course, is happy about the decision of them upholding the repeal. Now, a senior official, FCC official told reporters at a conference call that the decision is not a green light for states to pass any internet rules they want, and said the FCC has not decided whether to appeal portions of the decision. California adopted sweeping net neutrality protections in October 2018, but agreed not to enforce the measure pending the court challenge. California Attorney General Xavier Becerra said the decision blocks the FCC's effort to preempt state net neutrality laws through regulations. So basically what's going on here, the court said you cannot stop states from passing their own net neutrality laws. That's a good thing. But the FCC could address certain things in the law and try to push back on that. I'll give a for instance, and this will likely happen. In California's net neutrality bill, they reinstate all the net neutrality protections that we had in 2015. That's what the California net neutrality bill does. It also has a zero rating part there. What that means is that certain internet service providers, if you use their video service, their streaming service, it doesn't go against your data cap. That wasn't part of the original net neutrality bill. California added that. It's a great addition because what that does, a lot of these mergers that we're seeing is because the corporate media wants to dominate the streaming landscape. And having a zero rating policy that they can sell to consumers helps them do that. So having a policy prohibiting that, like California's net neutrality bill does, that's a good thing. But that's something that the FCC could go after, saying, well, you can't do that. And the FCC might win in a scenario like that. They might not. I don't know. I'm just saying that's something they could go after, something particular to the bill. But what they can't do, and that's the good news part, they can't stop states from having their own net neutrality laws. So that's a good thing. That's a victory. The fact that they're cool with the repeal itself, that's not a victory. But we kind of knew with a conservative-leaning court, with a court that has a friendly relationship with the big cable lobby, that was likely going to happen. And when I say big cable lobby, I mean the ISP side of it, the Comcast, the AT&Ts. So this is good news. This is good news. This means we have power at the state level, which is good because if California and New York go through with their net neutrality bills and they pass, then we're pretty much safe for the foreseeable future because right there, you got pretty much 43% of all the customer base. So these ISPs, internet service providers, your AT&Ts, your Comcast, they're not going to unroll anti-net neutrality packages and force them on consumers because they're not going to be able to enroll those packages in New York. They're not going to be able to unroll those packages in California. So for them, they're just kind of stuck not being able to be as criminal as they want to be. They can still be criminal. They still have an organized duopoly that shouldn't be legal on any level, but they can't do it as much when it comes to gutting net neutrality. See what I'm saying? So this is good news, could be better news, but overall good news. And we need to hold the line on state level net neutrality here in California. We should be tweeting in fact, you know what? I'm going to tweet Newsom right now. Now that, and I'm putting a period next to it so everyone sees it. Now that the court has ruled that states can have their own net neutrality protections, I hope that California will move forward with the net neutrality bill that already passed. Please show your support. Show that tweet some love if you are so inclined. All right. So some good news, could be even better news, but good news nonetheless. We'll take the win. All right. So that's happening. Net neutrality updated. And you know what ends this fight once and for all, by the way? municipal broadband all across the country. You know what? At once and for all, if we just get municipal broadband all across the country, that will end this once and for all.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your